And we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 77 of the Tiki Taka podcast. I'm joined by Cynthia. She had to.
Hello.
Okay, she's still here. Okay, hi, Cynthia. And,
Now I'm going to miss that.
all right. And also, Steph's here.
Hey, what's up, guys? A representar a nação sportinguista.
Cue the booze. Okay. All right. So Bruno couldn't make it to the podcast. I tried getting Kevin on. Unfortunately, he couldn't. So you're gonna have to. Your participants are gonna have to deal with us talking about Porto. So I mean, I'm not sure you guys want to stick around for that. But anyway, we're gonna get right into it, and we're going to scheme over the Champions League games. I'm not gonna give the Benfica lineups and the Porto or the Sporting lineups. I think we're just going to talk it over real quick. Um, and as you guys know, Benfica lost in the Champions League, I believe 2-0, if I'm not mistaken, at home against Basel in a game where I thought was very much like the CSKA Moscow game. But in this one, Benfica actually created a lot of chances, and they probably should have won that game. But in the end, the team just wasn't clinical enough, and they still made some defensive mistakes. I know a lot of people are going to harp on the game that we didn't even play that well, but I think we did. I mean, I don't think we played magical football or wonderful football, but I think we played enough to at least win the game, and we lost by 2 goals, which is still baffling to me. But it is what it is. Thankfully, though, we're out of Europe, but which last time it happened, it was good for us. We ended up winning the campaign. So, um, Steph, your Sporting had a difficult task at Barcelona.
Indeed, about the Benfica game really fast.
Okay, go
Uh,
ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it's cool. The only thing I would like to mention is the group wasn't that difficult from the get go, and I just think that the players that you sold, you never got good quality players, especially your center backs. Everybody agrees, even on Twitter, I could see like Timo going back and forth about the center backs. The group message that we have going on, 45 of us, it's mostly
Ella.
it's mostly Benfiquistas, and everybody agrees that your center back should be basically replaced. You should get better quality center backs, and then you had the bad luck of Ruben Diaz being on the surgery. I don't know if he's back yet.
No, he's not
Um,
back yet.
yeah, so that's a negative thing. But I know a lot of Benfica stay pissed because you didn't win one game, and then you scored only one goal, and you suffered 13 or 14 goals. So that's for a first seeded team. That's pretty bad, and it will stick with Benfica for the rest of their lives. It will be part of history, just like Sporting.
Infelizmente.
Yeah, infligement. Just like Sporting when we lost against Bayern by those ridiculous scores. But
Mm-hmm.
and that's the only thing. When you do a poor pre-planning preparation of your team like Benfica did, and who's to blame? I don't think it's Rui Vitória. I would blame more os dirigentes. You sell, but then you don't get good quality players, and then it bites you in the butt, and that's what happened. But now let's talk about Sporting. Sporting against Barcelona. Basically, we had a totally different team. JJ did the proper thing. We Sportingistas, we all agree the most important time was the game was Boavista. We haven't won the league in 15 years, so that's our priority. We were depending on third parties. We were depending on Olympiacos to win against Juventus. They didn't. Juventus won 1-0. So even if we won a Camp Nou, it wouldn't have mattered. So we lost 2-0. Barcelona basically, as soon as Messi came into the pitch, was a totally a different team, a better team. I mean, we're talking about one of the best players of the world, and basically we didn't have a chance to win that game. Actually, we did. Bastos to miss two crucial plays. At one point, it could have been two. The game could have been 2-1 in our favor, but he didn't score, and life moves on. And we knew that basically 90% of Sportingistas knew that we were going to Liga Europa. That it was a stretch to go to the oitavos finais, the Champions League. We were just depending on too many ifs, and we know how it ends when you depend on the Olympiacos to win against Juventus and us winning against Barcelona with a B team basically. That game was a preseason game. I didn't like it. I hated the game because we didn't play with our best players. But I understand it. I do believe that Jesus made the right call. Boavista was more important. And then we saw a motivated team against Boavista, which we'll talk about it, and which we won the game. So that's it about the Champions League. Hello?
I'm here. Did we lose Pete?
I think so.
Uh-oh, we joked about it and now it really happened.
Yeah, so I guess we can talk about Porto.
Yeah.
Yes, we can, sir.
Sorry, guys.
Oh, tá aí, tá aí.
My internet died and I'm using data, so just keep going.
Oh, so you turn off your data because you're cheap?
Shut up. Here we go. You're cheap. Stop taking shots at me. Just talk Porto.
Okay, so Porto won against Monaco 5-2, and they played well and they made it to the round of 16. And parabéns to Futebol Clube Porto, no portistas. It's well deserved. They were the better team in that group with Besiktas, and I'm glad that one of out of three made it, because that was 5 extra bonus points for the coefficient of the Portuguese ranking. So now we have only 3 teams: Futebol Clube Porto in the Champions League. We have Sporting in the Liga Europa and Braga in the Liga Europa. So congrats to Porto. Good game, solid game. Didn't give a chance to Monaco whatsoever. So that's it for the Champions League.
All right, it's right on time. FYI, I don't know what happened because I went and checked the Wi-Fi and everything was right. Like the router was working. So that was really.
Sure.
I swear that was really weird. So you finished talking about the Porto game?
Yeah, I mean, I just said that Porto they won 5-2 against Monaco. No questions, they were the better team, and they deserved to go into the round 6 of 16. And basically, by them qualifying to round of 16, we got 5 extra bonus points for the Portugal ranking, which is very important. So yeah. That's
All
it.
right. I was just going to add that was a very disappointing group. I mean, good for Portugal, obviously, but I was very disappointed with the teams, and especially Monaco. I was expecting a better performance out of them. I was expecting a really close group, right, with almost all 4 teams having a chance to qualify in the final match day. That's what I was more expecting, and it wasn't the case, which I felt a little bit surprised. But good for qualifying. So that's
People can say the same thing about us, though. So it happens.
Yeah, basically what Monaco did, you guys did the same thing. Monaco sold a bunch of key players, and Benfica sold a bunch of key players, and that's what happens when you don't when you do a preseason with shitty players. I mean, there's no other way to put this. Then it's a disaster. Monaco only had 2 points.
I believe the term you're looking for is shit the bed.
Yeah, cagaron a entrada y a saída.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know Benfica, they're not used to it, and because you guys, you're a big club, and not having at least 1 point, it's really, it kills you. I know that people avoid.
I saw a tweet from a Fenerbahce fan, and he's like, "I'm in the club." I'm like, I don't want to be in this club.
I know you don't want to be in this club because you're the only seeded team that never got a point, and you suffered 14 goals and you only scored 1 goal. That's pretty bad.
Rub it in, man. Rub it in.
No.
Tell me more stats.
No.
We got the youngest goalkeeper,
youngest
goalkeeper that saved a penalty, youngest goalkeeper that scored on himself. We got all the awards. Give us all the awards.
No, not that much. I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but let's move on because Benfica is in the title race in Portugal, and they still can win Taça de Portugal.
That's what we're really here for.
There's a lot of there's a lot of trophies. I mean, let's be realistic. Is Porto going to win the Champions League? No, no fucking way. You know. Uh,
Real
He's
one's
gonna
what,
win the
number
Europa
20?
League, maybe.
well,
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, Braga and Sporting, they have a chance
I
of
said
winning.
maybe. I said
Yeah,
maybe. Come
yeah.
on. So it's
They,
not out of. But I mean,
you
it's
it's a different competition. There it is.
yeah. Hmm.
There it is.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it depends on a little bit of luck, which we got a little bit of luck, but we'll talk about it later.
Yeah. All
Mhm.
right. So let's move on to the Campeonato then, as you guys were saying, because what matters is that Benfica is still in the title race, and very much in it. Only 3 points behind Porto and Sporting, so that's pretty good for them. Anyway, we're going to start obviously with Benfica. They played against Estoril. They won 3 goals to 1. Uh, Jonas scoring, Salvi scoring, Krovinovic scoring. It was very nice to see Krovinovic get on the score sheet. But yeah, Bruno Varela was in goal. André Almeida, Luizão, Jardel, and Grimaldo across the back. Pizzi, Feza, and Krovinovic with Salvio, Jonas, and Servi up front. I saw a lot of people annoyed at this game. I thought it was very much an okay game, like quanto baixo, as they usually say. They played enough to win. Wasn't a terrific performance, but it also wasn't as terrible as some people were trying to make it out to be. I think there might be still some saltiness for the Champions League because that performance wasn't bad, but everybody decided to harp on Vitória, and it was just a little bit weird. Anyway, I'll let Cynthia go on the game because I want to talk about something else a little bit more different. So, Cynthia, what did you think about the game?
So I pulled a Maz and I took notes during the game this time because after the Benfica game, I was able to watch Toronto FC. So I knew I wasn't going to remember, especially after TFC and your other weird colored team there, Peter. But with our game, so 5 minutes, 50 seconds in, Pizzi takes this shot, and I look at Mario, and he could tell you, I always get mad when people are ball hogs,
Oh
especially
wait, the
if
one that he
there's
could have
somebody
squared
available.
it to Jonas, right?
And instead, he shoots wide, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh my
buddy,
god.
like, you have no idea. Don't play for yourself. Don't play for your own stupid name. If the people are available, send it to them. If you've got the open shot, yes. He didn't have the open shot. That's why he shot wide because he was trying to go around people. Give it to somebody who's open. Anyways, Pizzi's not the only one that does this. I get mad at this all the time. 13 minutes in, then there's a goal. I was actually really impressed with the goalie because he stayed with it. Some just stand there and slump their shoulders, and so I was really impressed with him. Otherwise, it was a great play. And then I did want to shout out to Maz and Salvio. Apparently, he wants her to start a pod. So yeah, 17 minutes in, it's the second goal. I liked the great play, and it was after the one-on-one mess up by Salvio. So he had a one-on-one, messed it up. After that, he does this pass to Jonas, and obviously Jonas scored. 44 minutes, Estudio scored. It was actually a really nice header. It
Very
was
good play.
fast. It was tough to save, and I don't blame Varela at all because I know some people were like, "Oh, he's doing it again." And I was like,
No, not even
"Calma, yeah."
close.
I had a couple of tweets of that, and I was like, "Okay, everybody, calm ourselves, yeah, like
That's why
get a little
I can't go
dramatic."
on Twitter during the Benfica games. Jesus Christ.
No, seriously, yeah. I need to start turning off my phone. And then at 59 minutes, Crovey scored. And I just thought it was a great pass. The defenders almost got it, but it was just enough.
Yeah, I
Apparently, my
thought
daughter
so.
doesn't like Crovey.
She don't want you talking about the game. No, I agree with you. That was a
He's
very
like, don't
good
talk
goal.
about Crovey.
That was a very good goal. That was well worked play with nice build up.
Yeah, I was happy with it. And I know, yes, it's not Champions League. I know, I get it. I get that people were still pissed off about it. I get it. I'm also a Benfiquista. I get it. But you know what? It's we got to move on. What were we going to get? Mario, he was right. He's like, this is a glorified friendly. What was the point of the Champions game? You know what I mean? Like, we weren't going to win if we got 3 points. It would just be, hey, we got 3 points. We don't completely suck. You know what? It's not worth it. So
Yeah,
instead, we come back home, we get a 3-1, and we move on. You know what I mean? We got to move on.
yeah. No, I agree with you. Jesus Christ, I can't think today. I was going to just discuss something really quickly, and it was just something that was coming, to me when I was watching the game, and after when the Sporting game was on, because I was discussing it with my dad. And there's just a couple of things, and this is more like back to the structure of how the team is built and all of that. And there's just it's just something that to me is really weird when you manage to get at least two young players who look very promising. I mean, at least I was really impressed with Krian back when he played in the preseason, and Keaton Parks, which was a very good player for Varzim, which impressed a
Look
lot
like
in the
Blanc
Benfica
Jardel,
B.
yes.
And now he's he's getting called up to the A squad, and
Hmm.
it was just something that was just coming to me, and if we get those supposedly 20 million offers for somebody like Samaris, why keep him and not let these younger guys with probably higher potential play, or even Filipe Augusto. I like Filipe Augusto, I love Filipe Augusto, but he's not a difference maker on the team, right? So he's just a similar type of player that you already have. So why are these guys, staying in the squad when you could get, younger players with higher talent into the team? That was just something that popped my mind, and I thought it was interesting because I really like Benfica's midfield when it comes to it on paper, because I love João Carvalho, I love Krovinovic. Last year's Pizzi, I love him too. Feza, Krian, and maybe have Keaton Parks in there, and that just leaves a little bit of young guys and more experienced guys, and that would probably work a little bit better than what we have, because some players are just so similar to each other that they don't really bring anything different. I don't know what you think about that, Cynthia.
No, I agree. I don't get it because, like I told you, the first time we saw Keaton, I was like, did I told you, did Chardell dye his hair and start running down the field? What is this? And then we realized it was a different guy because I clearly sometimes I don't pay attention when the kids are like all over me. So I was like, what the hell's going on? And then Mario's like, it's a different person. I was like, oh, okay. But as soon as we noticed, like, no, it's the American kid, and then we realized that's who it was. We were super impressed with him, and I think we even tweeted it, and then I think we said it that following time on the pod. And I don't get it. I've said it many times. I don't understand the mind of a coach because the way I see things is not always the way any of them. If I compare to any of these coaches, I just could not be one. And maybe you can't
All
either.
right.
Who knows?
No, I can't, because some of them, because it just goes to like something that you're looking at, and
Hmm.
and just thinking, what can this guy bring differently, right? Because
Hmm.
normally you need
Hmm.
like two guys basically of the same, that they are basically the same players, obviously, because you need to rotate and injuries and all that. But there's no point on
Yep.
having a phase of Filipe Augusto and Samaris and the Crovino and the Krian and the Kitten Parks. There's five players that basically do the exact same thing, right? So I
Hmm.
was just thinking, if you can get good money for this and this guy, why not let him go and bring the younger guys in and let
And
them
like you said,
develop?
especially if he's not giving them time anyways, like how often is somebody playing anymore?
Right, exactly.
Maybe sell him now while you're getting that 20 million offer.
Exactly. So that's what I was thinking too, because it makes sense from that point of view too, because he's not getting a lot of minutes. So I would just rather have somebody else that's already getting called up to play for him. Because I was watching that game, and I was like, this game 3-1. Please put in Keithan, because I know he was on the bench, and then he brings on Samaris, and I'm like, there's no point on bringing on Samaris. It's gonna be the same thing. You've already seen what he
Hmm.
can do. It's 3-1. Like, it's not like Seville is going to score 2 goals, because they weren't
No,
threatening. They
exactly.
they're a good team, but they weren't exactly creating a bunch of chances. So it wasn't like you were going to be at risk. So it was just something that I was thinking about. All right,
No, and you're right. I agree with you.
Steph, I don't know if you want to say anything about the game or about what I said.
Yeah, of course. There's a couple of things I'm going to bring up. I mean,
Obviously,
I, I'm going to be a little bit like Bruno today.
but
Uh,
not too much.
Oh, no,
Not too
no, no,
no,
much.
no, no. We don't need that. We don't need that.
but less salty. Don't worry about it. Um,
All
I,
right, all
I have
right.
I have my own personality, but it wouldn't be me if I
Hey.
didn't bring up a couple players that it was all over Twitter, all over the media. Which you guys know which ones I'm going to bring up.
I
So
think two. I know two of them. I don't know the
okay,
rest.
so which two? Let me see.
I think you're gonna bring on the second Benfica goal, and you're gonna
Yeah.
bring on the penalty. I think
Yes.
that I think should have been a penalty, but thankfully still scored in the same place. So there you go.
Got it. So basically, so you agreed it was a penalty.
I think so. I think it was.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I think it really was a penalty. And then the Jonas goal. Uh, if you look at if you look at the images, it looks like one foot was offside, the right foot. So, and the best comparison was brought up by Portimonense. I don't know if you guys read o record. I don't know.
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
Okay. If you go to record, basically, and record got it from Twitter. If they got the image from the Jonas offside and the Portimonense offside at the Stade de Luz when they played and they lost at the Stade de Luz. And you see, it's basically a photocopy. It was the same play, basically.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah. No, go on record and you'll see it. It's not me. I'm not making this shit up.
I know you're not making it up. I just want to see it.
The difference was the VAR for Benfica said was not offside, but the VAR for Portimonense against Benfica, because that goal would have been counting in favor of Portimonense, it was called offside. So now, am I going to be like Bruno and say there's corruption involved, this and that? No, I don't. Me personally, to tell the truth, I think we don't have good enough referees. I think they all suck. The referees on the pitch and the referees in charge of the VAR, they really suck. The VAR, for God's sake, is working in every other single country. The only country there's controversy, it's in Portugal. Of course, the other countries have a little bit of controversy, but not as much as Portugal. So our referees, PAF, they don't want to accept the VAR. But the VAR is going to stay for another year, and it will be staying forever. Believe me, it will be. So we just have one remedy, is forget about the Portuguese referees because they really suck, and they don't want to accept VAR as a tool in their bag. Instead of using the VAR in their favor so they can, release some pressure on top of them and some stress, they're actually fighting it. So therefore, I really think the APAF should be obsoleted, and we should rely on OF and say, hey, OF, we need referees from other countries to actually call our games, because the ones we have, they really suck. And for you guys to really understand the full picture of it, no tempo extra, o Rui Fontes, é Rui Fontes, né?
Rui Santos, bro.
Rui Santos, merda.
You always get it wrong.
I know.
You always say that. I don't know. What is it with you and Fontes?
I like water from Serra da Estrela, fontes, uma fonte. Anyway, Rui Santos, he said it, that every time the three big teams play, Sporting, Benfica, and Porto, it should be a referee from another country. And you know what? I think it's going to come down to that.
I hate that though. We need capable people. Sorry, I mean we got people in Portugal that are good.
So what's your solution?
Need to get rid of the trash.
I know, but it's all of them.
But they're all trash. Like,
but the issue comes from the upbringing, like the way that they're brought up. Like the way that they're taught to do things.
Did you see the game yesterday, Braga?
Bro, I didn't, but I saw the play.
Did you see Marítimo Braga at the end? The referee.
I saw the play.
So he saw the guy doing a penalty. And then he ignored it. Rui Costa.
He blew for full time. Yes, he was. I saw.
So I was like, what? And I was watching again. I was like, what the fuck is that? He saw
at first when he was rolling in the television, I was like, oh, he blew for full time. He wasn't even looking at the play. And then he shows the replay where he's looking at the play, and then he sees the guy go down, and then he blows for full time. And I'm like, what the fuck?
And when you have Portimonense Chaves and the coaches are complaining, when you have
I was gonna bring that up too.
When you have an when you have an Aves Tondela and the coaches are complaining, now we're going beyond Benfica and Sporting.
And several Setúbal games worth mentioning too, because they Let's get to this.
Every single team is complaining about the referees and the VAR. So then is the problem really Porto,
Benfica.
Benfica, or Sporting
No,
or
it's the
Braga?
entire system. It's the
It's
entire system.
And to me, to fix this as of today, there's only one solution. We can't just say, oh, we have good referees, but that
We
takes
do.
years. But that
We
takes
do.
years. We have in a segunda categoria, we had a referee called Lama, and he finally got called. I don't know why he was never called, but he finally got called into Primeira Categoria for a first division team. But the solution now is basically we the fans don't trust the referees. The players don't trust the referees. Nobody's trusting the referees. No club. I mean, Benfica complain as much as Sporting and Porto, as much as Braga and Marítimo and Boavista and Belenenses, and you name all the teams. Everybody's complaining. So then get rid of them. And we need help. We go to UEFA. We have enough. The league is making good money. All the penalties they charge us. I mean, each game, o Benfica tem que pagar $10.000, 10.000 euros em multas. O Sporting, 10.000 euros. O Porto, 10.000 euros. They're getting money, bro. So they have money. So the solution for me is get rid of the fucking Portuguese ref. They all suck. That's why there's not even one in the Russian 2018 World Cup. There's not even one Portuguese referee in the World Cup.
I don't wanna like bring this up because I think this will take a little bit more time.
That's
But
fine.
it was something that I was discussing with my dad. I don't know how long ago, but he was saying, and to his opinion, that the real issue, is the fact that you got the observadores, that they're not doing their jobs basically, and that it's easily manipulated. The grade is easily manipulated by them, and the fact that they have a lot of cunhas, right? A lot of friends in there that allows the shittier guys to stay in and get brought up because of the grades they constantly get from the observadores.
I know,
That's his point.
and I agree with your father. And the big so far to all the emails that came out, it seems that the biggest violator has been Benfica, though.
But all right.
I know, but
Okay.
I agree with your
But
father.
what I was
I didn't bring it up.
Yeah.
You did, and you know what?
I know.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
it is great manipulating because it seems to be the case because we see and obviously and Steph, you've been watching football for a long time. There's a lot of refs that you see and they're like, okay, this guy's actually decent, and then you realize like, where the hell is he refereeing anymore? Like, I don't even see him on the pitch anymore. There's a few of them, and I've seen it. I was like, oh, this ref's actually decent. Then I never hear his name again, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Have you seen all the emails that just came out this week? 6 gigabytes and 2 gigabytes.
Do you think that I read the no?
Of course you didn't, but you should.
I didn't even know about
but
it being released.
there
I
it
didn't
is.
even
But
know.
you know,
I didn't know. I didn't know. I swear, I don't pay two shits about it.
to all Benfiquistas, if you want to keep up with what's going on with the email scandals, you should at least keep up with it and read it and see what's going on to not be mesmerized when somebody brings it up and you say, oh no, I don't know about it.
But I really don't.
But,
The only thing that I saw was when it was. I read the joke today and it was on the cover, but I skipped that part, to be honest with you. But it was on the cover of Pedro Guerra saying that some of the emails are fake. Like, that was the only thing that I read, and I skipped the page.
I feel of course he's gonna say that. I mean,
He said some. He didn't even say all of them. He said some.
okay, well there it is. But all I gotta say is, like, my father-in-law is Benfiquista, and he doesn't pay attention to. He doesn't want to know about the emails. To him, everything is fake. Not even. He doesn't get to know. He doesn't read it. He doesn't follow anything. To him, it's fake. That's it. And I'm like, e por que você está a dizer que isto é falso? Porque a minha opinião é essa. Okay, pronto. And I have to go with it because he's my father-in-law, so I have to preserve the peace, in my family. So I kind of shut up and I go along with it. But, there's a lot of stuff coming out. And again, the institution of Benfica, I respect it a lot. It's an institution with more than 100 years. But the dirigents that you have now, me personally, they're very corrupted and they should be kicked out. If I was associated to Benfica, I would demand for them to be kicked out of Benfica. They're not representing you guys well. They're putting you guys to shame. In the Champions League, it was an embarrassment, and I blame them. And what's going on with the email scandals, It's because of them. So they're not doing a good service for Benfica. They should all be fired, and you should elect another president and another DSL. That's the only way you can solve this problem that you have, this ugly problem you have on your hands.
You think Bruno Carvalho is available?
Bruno Carvalho is Portuguese, so if he goes to Benfica,
Come on, man.
He's
All
going
right,
to bankrupt you guys. He's going to bankrupt you guys.
Just something really quickly, right?
Yeah.
Let's imagine that I agree 100% with you. There's no one in the past, I don't know, 3 to 4 elections that even comes close to looking like having a decent program or some decent ideas to lead the club. Besides Luis Piera, that's like the main issue though, because he doesn't have any opposition. I personally, have a few problems with him, but in the end, he brings us titles, and he's been bringing us titles. So in the end, I don't really. But I overlook some of the issues. But the thing is, even if I can be anti-Vieira if I wanted to. It's not that difficult. But even if I wanted to be, there's no one really in the past that's shown us and that's talking about Benfica to try and change the club and to say, hey, I'm a viable second option, right? Because everybody pops up when Benfica is losing and all that, but you don't even see them talk when Benfica is winning and all that. It always comes around election time, and in the end, it's a crushing victory for Luis. Whether you want to say it's the quote unquote quacks or not, the fact is that he doesn't have a viable opponent, though. He doesn't have anybody to force him, and at least when Bruno Carvalho came to the elections, obviously it was a crushing victory for him, but at least he had somebody that gave out at least a couple of ideas that you were like, okay, this is actually, a little bit interesting. This isn't all that stupid. This actually makes sense, and that hasn't been happening.
Well, not to go in depth into it, because this is a very interesting conversation, which I do enjoy with my Benfica fans, which I have a lot, by the way. I have a good portion of friends of mine. They I wouldn't say the vast majority, but 50% they Benfiquistas, and we all get along, and we talk the same way as we talk now. It's not throwing punches. It's just the reality.
It's respectful. It's not Bruno.
Yeah,
exactly.
normal discussion.
Yeah. Exactly. But me personally, Luis Felipe Vieira is being protected by No Name Boys and os Diabos Vermelhos. Each member that's been in those claques, each vote, I think it's like they count for 25 votes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but
You said it's per year it increases and stuff.
We discussed this the same thing last week about
okay, but that's why he's winning. He's winning because
I know, Steph, but he doesn't have anybody that's viable to oppose him.
He did.
Who?
Como é que chama o gajo? Acho que também que chama Bruno
Carvalho. Bruno Carvalho, bro.
I think so.
No.
I know, but
I didn't see anything from him.
I mean,
no, and I'm not talking about the name, but I didn't see anything from him.
But I'm pretty sure you do have some good impresarios, some good quality, some good professionals, Benfiquistas that actually would love to step up. But the system in place that you have now,
I don't think Rui Costa is going to go against him.
No. Rui Costa is
going, but you're not going
exactly.
No, you're not going to say that Benfica controls who can or who wants to step up or not, right?
Not Benfica. Benfica is an institution. Benfica is you, is Cynthia, is Timo.
Actually, can I tell you right now, the last election for LFV, I didn't even get to vote because by the time I got my shit in the mail,
I know
the vote was happening that day. And I was like, well, or it had happened the day before. And I was like, well, that came too late. And it was mine, Mario's, and my son's stuff that came for us to vote.
I know.
It didn't really matter because he had no
opposition. No, exactly. And like when I saw it, it was like 99% he got in. I was like, okay, well, I don't think 3 votes would have done anything anyways, but maybe put him at 100, but still.
All I'm saying, to finish this conversation, all I'm saying is the DSL in place now, they control everything about Benfica, even the votes. Yes, I believe that. I believe that the propaganda that they have in place, because
it could be the same thing as me saying that I believe that Sporting's election got rigged in the year that Bruno Carvalho wasn't.
I'm not saying it was rigged. All I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying. I know. I'm just saying that I also believe that he got he got robbed out of a first mandat that
He convinces most Benfiquistas to vote for him, okay, Luis Vieira,
Vieira.
and you guys vote for him, the vast majority, because you think he's doing a good job. But now in the Champions League, it was an embarrassment for all Benfiquistas. Now in the Portuguese League, I mean, he's still in the fight, so nothing against that. But all this scandal about the emails, let's say it's true. Let's say
Oh, God.
50% of those emails is true. How are you still going to vote for him?
I mean, I don't.
No, I wouldn't.
vote.
Okay,
Why are you
exactly.
questioning that?
Because my question to Benfica is really simple. Do you want a president and dirigentes são corruptos no vosso clube? Ou
No,
vocês...
just like
Of course
we
not.
want
We've-
people
Okay.
like Pinto da
We've
Costa out
had
of
this
football.
discussion off the pod. You know that, like when we're getting ready or even at the end. And we've told you guys, we want these wins. We want this penta and we want it to be clean. Because that way we get to tell you, as a Sportingista, and all of the Brunos out there to shove it. Because we did it without the corruption. Right?
Exactly.
So that's why we want it.
And it hurts the players a lot, even if they don't know.
Oh, of
And-
course.
And somebody tells you, "Hey, dude, you know that thing that you worked for, you made history, but there's gonna be an asterisk next to it because you got help." And
Oh, no,
like
you-
Yeah.
that. Nobody likes
Yeah.
that,
It puts down everybody. Look,
right?
like who's been here for all these 4 years? You know what I mean? And some that have moved on.
I mean,
You know,
to,
that's shit.
if you found guilty, they'll strip the titles, but they wouldn't be given to anybody.
Yeah, but
Still
we'll see.
sucks.
Yeah.
Are you sure they
Well,
wouldn't be given? Would BDC count them as his lost 4?
Não podem. But per the regulations, não podem.
No, they can't.
They
They'd be stripped of it, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But anyway,
I don't think so too. I don't think so too.
So something to keep in mind on for
Okay.
future podcasts is that
Sounds good.
I just want to see a viable opponent for JPR. That's like the main thing. That's the main issue that I got with him.
For
All right.
LFE?
Yeah. So
For
Yeah.
LSB. Well, you know what? But you guys have it. You guys have some great Benfiquistas.
no, and I'm sure that there's people even inside of his.
A lot of Benfiquistas. I don't know how many Benfiquistas from Portugal you speak to, because
a
Benfica,
lot.
it's not only immigrants. It's also in Portugal. A lot of
Is
them,
it?
a lot of them I
Some of
discussed.
these.
A lot of them are disgusted with this whole situation. A lot of them.
I know, and
They-
obviously I am too. I just prefer to stay on, away from the drama and the discussion. But obviously, I'm appalled by it. Like I've said on the podcast, everything that I thought about it. So obviously, we're all disgusted by it. But I mean, we don't really. We gotta wait, right? And we gotta see somebody step up to him. Basically, I want to see somebody else, because that's actually got ideas. That's the main issue with Benfica, in my opinion, at least. And I'm sure that he's got good guys inside of his direction, but they need to step up too. And it's like, hey, you took me under your wing, but I think I can do a better job from now on. And that's
Oh, man, to tell the truth, all I want is, like Cynthia said, a clean game on the pitch. O espetáculo deveria ser os jogadores e os treinadores. That's it. And then the referees, of course.
And then we can tell Marega get the fuck off.
No, but that's it. Sometimes people forget, o futebol é espetáculo. It's like going to concerto de rock. That's all it is. It's espetáculo. We like to see that. All I want to see is the magic of the players, the cool dribble, the cool goal. I don't want to see of corrupção or VAR or isso.
Of course not.
I'm sick
Nobody
of that.
wants
I'm
that.
sick
Nobody
of
wants that.
I'm sick
Red
of
octopus banners.
Oh, meu, foscas,
Yeah.
you
Let
know,
it go.
like did you watch the game yesterday with the New England against the
No,
Dolphins?
but I was very happy to see that they lost.
Okay. At one point, the player was dead, and then a player from the Dolphins, he basically fez uma falta ao jogador do New England, and it was a penalty of 15 yards. Usually, it's a penalty of 15 yards.
15 yards.
Yeah. So the defensive coach was like, o árbitro chegou lá e explicou, this is why we called it. You know what he did? Okay, I accept it, and they moved on. And that's it. That was
What a beautiful thing.
and you know what? I'm not saying that the NFL is always correct at 100%. Sometimes
It's not definitely.
no, They make mistakes, but it's really minimized. It comes to the point that whatever the referee calls it, that's gold, and that's it. And then they talk to each other, the coaches, and you never see an NFL coach being ejected. Never. It's
I mean,
very
I saw Pete Carroll get ejected trying to control his players. So I mean,
yeah, é raro.
those rules
É muito raro.
are a little bit bad too. But it's very yeah. I mean, I've been watching it. I tell you, I've been watching it for 2 years now. Um, so basically, I watched almost about 25 Seahawks games, and I never saw Pete Carroll get ejected. Besides this one time, and it wasn't even against the referees. It was just because he broke the rules, quote unquote. So yeah, I do agree with you on that. I do agree with you on it.
But that's all I got. It was just those two plays from Benfica. That's it.
All right. So you can move on now to
Yep.
Sporting then, and yeah, talk about your team that beat Boavista.
Okay, yeah. So Sporting played away against Boavista. We won 3-1, and the lineup was the following: Rui Patricio at goalie. Then the defensive line was Piccini, Coates, Mathieu, and Fábio Coentrão. Then midfield we had William Carvalho, Gelson Martins, Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno César. Then up front we had Podens and Bas Dost. So this game basically we have a first half that Boavista was more dominating to the point of the possession of the ball, not creating chances of goal whatsoever. I think their striker being Rochinha, he's good, but all alone. Kuka was actually the most dangerous player for Boavista. Basically, Rui Patricio didn't have much to do in the first half whatsoever. Then around the 25th, 26th minute, Sporting kind of took control of the game, regained control of the game, and that's when we saw some dangerous plays, but nothing like crazy. And then towards before the first half, Fábio Coentrão with that amazing play from Podens, he basically partiu os rins à defesa do Boa Vista, which I think it was Talocha, and that amazing play with that amazing assist, and then o gol de Peixinho do Fábio Coentrão. So Sporting was winning 1-0 at halftime, and I thought we deserved to be up by 1. Then in the second half, we basically controlled the whole game. And the reason is Jesus realized that our defensive line, midfield line, and offensive line, they were too spread. So he got them more compacted. And then we saw a Sporting playing more on the midfield of Boa Vista. I would say 80% of the time we were playing on the pitch on the half portion of the field of Boa Vista. And basically that's when we scored the 2-0 by Bas Dost at minute 63. And then the only goal that Boa Vista scored, it was a silly mistake by Coates. He never makes those mistakes, but even one of the best players could make those mistakes, which he did. And then in a counter-attack, a really fast counter-attack, Mateus from Boa Vista scored in minute 65. Then to kill the game, Bas Dost at minute 67 from a set piece again. Two of our goals were from set pieces. A header from an assist from Mathieu to Bas Dost, and then he basically rifled the Boa Vista goalie and made it 3-1. Then from that point on, Sporting was pragmatic. They were just playing possession, and we controlled the remaining of the game, and that's it. I mean, overall, we were much better than Boa Vista. We didn't give them a chance to come back to the game, and 3-1 to me is a fair result.
All right. So I don't want to sound because I say this every single week that Sporting play. But no. I think that Boa Vista really needed halftime. It was 35 minutes in, and I'm like, halftime. Sporting's gonna score, and they ended up scoring right before the half. And obviously, that always gives you that emotional boost. I didn't think that Boa Vista had a bad game. I think they play well. I mean, they're obviously not great, but I like to watch their games against the bigger teams because I think they put up a good fight. In the second half, to be honest with you, I was starting to watch the Sounders versus Toronto, so I didn't pay much attention to it. But as soon as Boavista gets that 2-1, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be good. Like, I don't even know if it was like a minute or two later, Baz does, makes it 3-1, and it's like, okay, it's game over now. But it was a good game by Sporting, a good game by Boavista too. They did what they could do. They always seem to make things interesting, but they just weren't enough to beat Sporting or to even tie, basically. That's my 2 cents on the game.
Great. I'm proud of you. Cynthia.
I don't think Cynthia watched that game. She was more looking for
I swapped
Toronto.
over. Yeah, I swapped over to Toronto, guy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was watching. I saw who was the first goal?
She saw Josie Altidore scoring offside.
Exactly. Yep.
It was offside.
Y contó.
Yeah,
it wasn't offside.
It was
He's
offside.
crying.
No,
he's crying because
offside.
that team is his blue and green team.
No,
so
it was offside, Steph. You can check it out. It was offside.
So like
they won.
Like the goal with Jonas.
Yeah, like the goal with
Yes,
Jonas.
exactly.
No, we never got back to that play.
It's the same photo.
No, listen.
Isn't that what you said? It looks like a photocopy of the photo. Exactly.
No. We actually never got to talk about that play, bro. I just noticed that. Can I just say real quick that I went on record, and that's why I got put it out. I got put it out of the call because of record. Fuck record. I saw it, and it looks quite similar. Only the thing that I think that one of Storil's player's foot is actually at the same level as Salvio's, but that's really quick. It's easier to judge the Portimonense one because he's clearly in front of every single Benfica defender. His foot is in front of every single Benfica defender, which makes it a little bit easier for the referee to manage. Although I think, to be honest with you, that linesman was, in my opinion, probably one of the best linesmen I've seen recently. I thought he got every single offside decision correct. And by the way, we completely didn't mention one of the most disastrous offsides calls I've seen in my entire life, which was the referee blow for an offside without his linesman putting his flag up. That was disastrous.
Yeah. I saw that too. Yeah. I don't know if it was done verbally because he didn't raise his flag.
No, he did it, and then he calls it, and then he blows the whistle. That's when he lifts his flag. He's like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" I thought that was too funny to not mention.
Well, that play with Portimonense and Benfica and Estoril Benfica, it just to people realize that the big teams will always get the calls, and the small teams, it's easier.
They're always going to get the short end of the stick, of course.
It's easier for a referee to fuck up against a small team than a big team. That's the bottom line.
Of course, because that's not going to get scrutinized.
Yeah, as much. Exatamente. That's why the morale of the story was when the Portimonense Direção brought it up.
Is that
Now we have
no, we got to talk. No, you can talk about the Europa League draw now if you want, because then we'll move on to Porto and talk the.
Okay, yeah. So we play in Astana. Astana is a good team. They played in the Champions League. They played in the Liga Europa a few times.
Played Benfica.
Yes, indeed. I think it was a 2-2 score last time.
Yes, it was 2 Raul goals.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm expecting. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna be short with this. I'm expecting Sporting to move on. If we don't, I'll be totally disappointed. We have a better team. They haven't even begun their season in Kazakhstan, so they lack of rhythm. They only played the Liga Europa basically, and that's it. Their championship haven't started yet, so. Sporting better win. If we don't win, I'll be totally disappointed, and I'll be off Twitter for a long time.
Is that a promise?
Yes, it's a promise.
I'm just gonna say that the only reason why I could see you guys struggling is around minus 14 degrees Celsius.
Wear sweaters.
And play on an artificial pitch, so that's also a little bit difficult for you guys.
I mean, I mean, that's to me, that's so.
They're professionals.
Yeah,
But to me, no, but no, but to me, the biggest thing is that Sporting doesn't even need a good result in Astana. They should have the everything done at the Alvalade, because if they win like they should by more than one goal, then they got everything pretty
yeah.
much nailed down.
It'll be. We'll play the Primeira Mão. The first game will be in Astana, and then the second one in Lisbon. So
Escape with a draw or 1-0 win, and
yeah.
that's it.
So we have everything in our favor. All I'm saying is those excuses you gave me just now. It's a faire divers, like we say in Portuguese. It's bullshit. I don't go with that. They playing also on the pitch. They play also minus 14. So, we better win, and that's it. And that's all I have to say about the Liga Up. It was a good draw. We could have gotten a much more difficult team like Napolis or whatever, but we got a stand, so we have a shot of moving on, and we better. Not only because it gives us a chance to go to the quarterfinals, but also we need to
The
give Portugal points for the coefficient. Or one of these days, the only team going to the Champions League will be the champion of Portugal, and that's it. So I'm expecting good results from Sporting, Braga, and Porto.
Isn't it the round of 16, by the way, that you guys go through to the round of 16?
Yes,
Because you're in
yes,
the
you're
round
right.
of 32.
32. Yeah, you're right. That's correct. Yeah.
All right. It's also worth mentioning, as you were saying, that Braga got Marseille. To be honest, on paper, I expect Braga to win. Basically, because Marseille was Guimarães' opponent, and I believe Guimarães won a game and lost the other. And Guimarães are nowhere near the level they were last year. They're not as close to Braga this year. So I do expect Braga to go through against Marseille. Do they go any further than that? Probably not, but they should at least advance against Marseille. That's how I see it.
Never
It's
know.
not going to be easy, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be easy, but they have the team to do it.
Never know. We've seen Braga reaching the final with Porto a few years ago. So you never
They put up
know.
a fight. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, never say never. Braga is annoying as fuck. So they lost yesterday, but we saw what happened.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So basically, Guimarães, just to really quick, Guimarães, they
they
lost against Marseille in France, and
Mhm.
they won against Marseille at home. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. That's all I got there.
All right. So let's move on to Porto then. Obviously, no Portista here, so we got to pull the double
Yay!
duty here. Cynthia's happy. Anyway, Porto played the Setúbal on a game where I thought it was going to finish very one-sided, and it did. It was a 5-0 win for Porto with 3 goals by Abubakar, 2 by Marega. Anyway, it was José signed goal, Maxi Pereira, uh, Ivan Marcano, Ivan Marcano, Diego Reis, and Alex Telles, Danilo Herrera, Abubakar, Marega, and Brahimi. It was in. This was a little bit of a different lineup by Porto, playing both Maxi and Ricardo. To be honest, I paid zero attention to the first half. I didn't watch the second, and it was just Porto being Porto. I think they were the superior team. They were going to score sooner rather than later. I think Setúbal had 2 good chances right in the beginning, where if they put one of those away, it's a different game. But they didn't capitalize, and then Porto ends up scoring 1-0, and I believe 2-0 came shortly after, and after that it was basically game over. I don't know, Steph, if you have another opinion on the
No,
game.
without any doubt, Porto deserved to win. I mean, when you win 5-0, it's basically a one-sided game. I saw the game, and the first goal that people are saying that the Boubacar pushed the defender. I think he did, to all honesty, but at the same time, the defender was also pulling his jersey. So it's one of those plays that the referee looks at and, okay, está a puxar a camisola, está a puxar bocadinho nas costas, so I'm going to let it slide, because if he's pushing his T-shirt, he could call a bullshit penalty, which he could have called. If he's pushing the defender a little bit, hey, he's pushing his jersey, so he wants to be, he's basically telling him, I want to,
Deixa jogar.
deixa jogar e mais nada. So, you know, I still think, the referee could have done a better job managing that play, but at the same time, I'll accept it. It's fine. When I spoke to Bruni, I was telling him, did Abubakar push the defender? He's like, well, é uma questão de intensidade. And I was waiting for him to say that. And I said, okay, what about the penalty? How was the intensidade no penalty? It was nothing much. If you look at the PK, Abubakar sold it. And I'm not saying it's not a PK. It is a PK because part of a striker is also to sell a penalty. So as soon as he felt the hand grabbing his jersey and pulling him a little bit, he fell right away. But we're talking about someone that's a big guy, bro. He's 6'2". That guy's a monster. And he feels like a little Cinderella just like that.
It's like seeing the Hulk when he used to play for Porto a few years back, when the slightest touch he always fell down, and you're like, come on, man.
That guy was huge.
He's so big.
It's like seeing the wrestling. It's all fake. We know that. So when people fall in the wrestling, arena, hey,
come on,
faz escândalo do caralho.
Stop taking shots.
No. All I'm saying is wrestling is fake. So that was a wrestling move. But anyway, nevertheless, yes, it was a penalty, and Abubakar sold it. But I don't want to hear from Portistas intensidade. Because if you talk about intensidade de lance, tens que falar do outro lance. Não pode ser tudo a favor do Porto. But besides those two plays, Porto deserved to win no matter what. I mean, they were the much better team. I mean, they crushed them. They had no chance to win against Football Club Porto, and it was a good win. And they're still in first place in conjunction with Porto. They have a better goal average, and that's why they're in first place. And that's it. Let's move on. And we have a good race ahead of us. We have Porto starting with 36 points and Benfica right behind with 33. And Braga lost yesterday, so they kind of fell behind. So
I want to point out something real quick, that despite Benfica's very slow start, they actually surpassed Porto, obviously before the Setúbal game. They actually surpassed Porto on goals scored. So despite them having a very slow start when it comes to scoring, they're actually catching up now, which is very interesting. Just something pointing out.
Yeah. O Porto marcou 36 goals. Sporting scored 30, and you guys scored 32.
So there you go. Yeah. All right, so let's just quickly, obviously, mention that Porto also, had their Champions League draw. They're going to be playing against Liverpool. I got a few messages, and I know I got a few Liverpool friends that want to know a little bit more about Porto. So I think it's worth discussing this a little bit more in depth a little bit later on. So those guys also get a little bit of an idea of Porto. I think it's a tough draw. Though, just talking about it real quick, I think it's a tough draw. I don't know if it's impossible, but because Liverpool seems to be that team where very strong offense, but the defense is leaky. So if Abubakar and Marega can do some damage, especially Brahimi too, then they can definitely make it a tough matchup for Liverpool. I could see this game, both of these games, be definitely games that they're like 3-2s, 4-3s, because it just seems like that type of game, because you look at Salah, you look at Mane, you look at Coutinho, right? You see a lot of very capable strikers on one side, and you see Abubakar, you see Brahimi. Those guys can also be difference makers. Going up against Lovren and Klavan, they're not exactly world leaders. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough, but I think it should be a very entertaining draw at least. I don't know about you guys.
Okay, so basically, to go in depth about the Football Club Porto, I'm just looking at one thing. Give me 1 second. Okay, so
all right, I'll let you.
5, 13. No, next tell.
Probably.
And okay.
Do you want to? Do you need Cynthia to go first?
It's up to Cynthia. Go ahead.
Well, are you doing math, or what are you doing here, bud?
No. Because those Liverpool fans wanted to know a little bit more in depth about Football Porto. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to tell them.
No, we'll put them in contact with Bruno.
Oh.
We're even gonna get more in depth the week before the game. That's what's gonna be a little bit better. But anyway. So Cynthia, I don't know if you want to share your thoughts first, and then you let Steph go.
Sure. So I do just want to say right off the bat, I think that our league is completely underrated. Whenever we're paired with anybody, people are like, "Who's this?" Shut up. Shut up. We're decent. Leave it. And I think Porto, I think they're going to surprise Liverpool, which is great because I think EPL, I don't know if I've said it on the pod or not, but EPL here is the most played one, the most um, advertised one, everything. All of our sports networks have the EPL. They do not have the others. Like barely Bundesliga, barely any Serie A. There's always the Barcelona and Real game. But I mean, when is that? Like twice a season, right? So it's just, they're always pushing EPL. And so it's nice to have Portuguese teams, especially Porto, because, they're a powerhouse. They're always a powerhouse. Every year they're a goddamn powerhouse. So it's good to have that, and I think Liverpool should watch out.
All right, Steph.
Well, Porto is a well-known, respected team in Europe and in the whole world. Actually, they've won two Champions Leagues in '86, '87, and 2003, 2004. They won Taça Intercontinental in '87, '88, '04, '05. They won two Liga Europas, UEFA, and one Liga Europa, 2002, '03, and 2010 and 11. And they won a Super Taça Europeia in '87, '88. So everybody knows Porto. Everybody knows what they're capable of doing. It's a very dangerous team. Now let's talk about a little bit in depth for your Liverpool fans. So we have great. They have great goalies. We have Casillas. He hasn't been played recently because Jose Sad is actually doing a phenomenal job.
He's on a tear, yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty good, and I like it. He's Portuguese, so I promote. I like when they promote Portuguese players. In defense, the Football Club Porto, for the Liverpool fans to get to know a little bit better, they have a very, very strong defense. They have Ricardo Pereira, they have Layun, Marcano, Felipe, Alex Telles. And those are the solid defense of Football Club Porto. They still have Maxi Pereira and Diogo Dalot. But the first names I mentioned, basically, that's what makes Football Club Porto a solid defense. It's really hard to score in them. In the Portuguese league, they only suffered 5 goals, and which is really nothing within 14 games. So for Liverpool to score against them, they'll have a hard time. They have a solid defense. In the midfield, you have some great players, which all of them they play for the national team, for their national teams. You have, for example, Danilo Pereira, a great number 6. You have André, Otavio, Herrera from the Mexican national team, Sergio Oliveira from the Portuguese sub-21, and he also has been called for the A team, and Oliver Torres from the Spanish national team. So the midfield again, Football Club Porto is it's full of good players, international players. Every single one of them knows how to touch the ball, knows how to play. So again, Liverpool will have a hard time playing and matching up with the midfield of Football Club Porto. And then the most lethal weapon of Football Club, in my perspective, on the way I see it, it's the offensive line. They have some amazing fast players, and when you have the combination of Abubakar and Marega together, they just lethal. They're very dangerous. And let's say one of them is not playing well, you have Corona. Then you have Brahimi on the wing, which that guy dribbling is just amazing. He's fun to watch. And then you have Suarez. Suarez is a great striker. So if Abubakar is on an off day, here comes another great player. And then last but not least, you have Hernani, which he hasn't been playing at the level that Sergio Conceição would like him to see. But watch out for the Liverpool fans. You have to watch out for Brahimi, Marega, and Abubakar. Those 3 are lethal. And if you guys give them space, you'll be in trouble. That's it.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. I think eventually we're going to revisit this once it gets a little bit closer to the match. But that was really good, and I totally agree with everything that you said. So that was really nice, Steph. You deserve a big congratulations, big thumbs up.
And I'm not Portista, atenção.
No, apparently you talked to Bruno too much.
No, no.
Nah,
It's
he was
just
just being unbiased.
yeah. Porto as a team, when they click all together, all the cylinders click. They're very dangerous. I think I hate to admit it, but they could be one of them. They're one of the best teams in Portugal, and Sporting could be at their level. But we'll see the next time we play against them no Dragão. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping we better than them.
All right, so I think that pretty much covers everything. I know you wanted to give out the Taka previews, results, and all that. The thing that we usually do, the predictions. So if you want to go with that now, I think that's.
Definitely. So if I'm not mistaken, you guys, Benfica plays at Rio Ave, am I right?
Yes, we play
Okay.
World Conte.
So predictions, Cynthia.
I don't know.
I know.
I know.
What is that?
I
What is that?
don't
Come
know.
on.
I feel you. It's a
Like
very,
I don't know.
it's a very difficult game.
2-0 maybe.
2-1 Benfica. Come on,
Benfica.
Cynthia.
Honestly. How am I going to get the penta if we don't win 2-0?
What does that have to do with the Penta? It's a Taça de Portugal game, though.
Yeah, but I want all the trophies. And to get the penta, we got to have a good morale. So we can't. No 0 points. I'll be so mad.
No 0 point. All right, so now she's talking points in Taça games.
I'm sorry.
I know your kid is distracting you today.
Yeah,
know,
they're going crazy on it.
She's right here. Do you hear it now? It's a different show now.
I hear it slightly. For me, Steph 2-1 to Benfica.
Okay.
Uh,
Well, 2-0 for me. So what?
Okay, so 2-0 for Cynthia, 2-1 for you, and me. Of course, I'm going to say it's going to be a tough game, and I think it's going to be a 1-1. It's going to go to overtime and penalty kick.
Oh God, that's not
Who
what
wins
I
on
want.
penalty kicks?
I don't know. That's the lottery.
No. Sorry.
No,
You're gonna say
It's
1-1,
not a
and then we go to
lottery.
PKs. Are you doing like? Do we win 4-5?
No.
Like, what are we doing here?
It's impossible.
Bullshit.
It's impossible to predict penalties
Well, try it. Why'd you say we're going to penalties then?
because
He said it's impossible to predict who wins the shootout, not predict that it's going to penalties.
4-5.
I
4-5.
think.
Because Rio Ave, that's one of the competitions they could actually win. It's Taça da Liga or Taça Portugal. They'll never win the Champions League, the Liga NOS. So why
I
not
was
go?
like, what?
No, you're gonna Champions League não vai lá de certeza.
Maybe they want that. Okay, don't wreck their dreams.
But Liga NOS, they're never gonna win. So the only chance they can win a trophy, it's a Taça Portugal or Taça da Liga. So they're gonna play with their best team against Benfica. And that's why I'm saying, and the Taça de Portugal, like Peter knows, it's a different game. It's a more open game. It's not for points. It's not for demotion or to be champion of Portugal. So it's going to be a nice game. I'm actually looking forward for this game.
Me too. So your Sporting plays against Vila Verdense. What's the scoreline for you?
4-0.
Oh my lord!
That was quick.
Lord.
It's a third division team, Cynthia.
Just mean.
No, I'm not being mean. I'm being realistic. If we don't win 4-0, it's pretty much, if we.
Let me guess. Hat trick by Bosdos.
No, he's not going to play.
Gonna play.
He's not even going to play.
Oh, good.
He's not even gonna put it.
Then I don't have to
gonna
see
go on a
salty
pitch.
Sam's. No, Bosdos tweets.
Hey, you gotta love those tweets, though.
But no, I don't, because then that song is stuck in my head.
Na. Basta. It's kind of cool.
Pá, os benfiquistas é cantarem para o meu avançado.
Find it.
I'm not singing for
it's
him.
just-
I'm
it's
singing for
just-
Adam West's Batman.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever you
Steph.
guys say, you were singing for a sporting player. La,
It,
la,
it
la,
does-
la, la, la.
it doesn't really matter. It's just funny. It's not doesn't mean shit. Anyway, I don't really care. I think Sporting is going to win. I don't care about the scoreline. It could be 1-0. It could be like 7-0. I don't know. It's probably going to be. I'd give it like a 3-1 because I think these small teams always seem to like they're really feisty, and I like to see them get a goal. It always
Because
makes
they can
things
get a
little bit better.
payday, so they play for it.
I know. I'm pretty sure Vila Verdense, the coach already said we're not going to go over there with the autocarro.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said, And they have nothing to lose. They go to the capital of Portugal, playing against Sporting Clube Portugal no Estádio de Alvalade. It's not every day that they
For the
have.
first time in their history.
Yeah, exactly. So might as well go and play the game for the game. And Sporting's not going to play with the A team. They will have a lot of team players that need minutes. Like I'm pretty sure Salin will be playing. Ritzowski will be playing. André Pinto, Tobias, Bruno Cesar, Palhinha, Dumbia. All of these players that need like Yuri Medeiros, I'm pretty sure he will play too. Mateus Oliveira.
And it's like that thing, they're good players, but they're not playing together a lot. So it always leaves that, the little bit of
You leave the
room
door
for
open.
error. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The chemistry is gone basically, but they play together every day in the practice. So,
It's
but
not the
they
same
still
thing.
have. No, it's not. Of course not. But they're still good enough to beat Villaverdense. But
Obviously.
Says you.
I'm pretty sure that Jesus will keep on the bench Cecil Martins, Bastos, and Cunha, just in case if he said, "Oh shit, this is going south," I have to put them on the pitch to win the game. Because, like Peter said, these teams are feisty, and you never know. But
So my prediction then for you, just because I want to be a shit disturber, is I'm going to say 2-0 for the Villa Villarreal, and that you guys all get the flu or food poisoning or something.
that's unless we go to the Benfica cafeteria.
Well, they're just red pastéis de nata. They're still delicious.
Oh, Fatu, que até me gera de rir.
Anyway,
Okay.
So Porto plays against Vitória de Guimarães at home. What do you guys think about that one? Cynthia, I'll let you go first.
Oh man. Because Guimarães, they're feisty too, but they're not to their level right now. Maybe a 2-0 for Porto. 2-0 for Porto.
Okay, 2-0 for Porto. Steph.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because Porto just played on Sunday. So let me see. I would say they're not going to play with the A team, giving Guimarães a shot of winning the game or tying the game. So it's going to be a close score. I would say a 1-1 or 1-2 or 2-1. 2-1 for Guimarães, let's say.
Wow. I'd say 2-1.
Food poisoning for the win. Come on.
I don't think he'll be playing Marega and Abubakar. He needs to rest them because there's another game coming up
on Monday.
On Sunday or Monday, yeah.
Monday. It's against Maritime, and we, no matter how you want to flip the script on the ending of that Braga game, they still beat Braga. And obviously, it's at home, but they're always a tough team, so they got to be prepared.
If
I give out my prediction for Porto 2-1.
Yeah. If they play on Monday, they might play with a decent team. Yeah. So yeah, I'll say 2-1 Porto as well.
So I think they're pretty much. Oh, well, so Gil Vicente's going to get promoted. We need to talk about Gil Vicente, but that's going to be next week because we're running out of time. So Gil Vicente's going to get promoted. Remind me of that.
Yes, I'll remind you about Gil.
I know.
2019 and 2020. That's when they'll be promoted.
Yeah. So we have plenty of time to talk about it then. We do have 2 questions from Neil that I got. The rest of the question, I didn't see anything else, so I don't know. I don't know if I lost anything.
I didn't see anything. So I saw one for João Felix. And I didn't see anything else. Yeah,
exactly. So the first question he asked was Coentrão, if he steps up his game because he scored for Sporting this past weekend. If he steps up and he continues doing that, does he get a call up to the national?
Okay, so me personally, I think so because Neil, thank you that's a very good question, Neil. No, I'll tell you why. Because the media, they have a quick finger to pulling the trigger when it comes to say, "Hey, Fábio Coentrão didn't even last 45 minutes." So guess what? Fábio Coentrão has played 90 minutes for 5 games in a row. 5 games in a row, he has played 90 minutes. So most definitely, his competition will be Ricardo Pereira to the Football Club Porto, which is playing real good too. So I think, for instance, if Coentrão plays the same way, I think he deserves a call together with Ricardo Pereira. because Ukraine is a little bit off of Dortmund. But it's going to be tough for Fernand Sanchez. But yeah, I think so. I think he might get a call. It's not a sure thing because Ukraine is good too, and Ricardo Pereira.
Thing.
Yep,
It's
and
100% certain.
Ricardo Pereira is he's doing great too. So, but I think he has a shot. Yes,
I'm going totally against you, and it's 100% guaranteed for Coentrão because first of all, obviously he's preferred over Eliseu, and Eliseu is not going to see a lot of playing time. Supposedly he's going to leave. I don't see that happening, to be honest with you guys, but he's not going to see a lot of playing time. Obviously he's going to play, but he's never going to play as much as Coentrão. So unless Coentrão gets hurt, I don't see Eliseu being called up over him. So I think it's more than a shoe-in that Coentrão gets called up for the national team.
I didn't even
he doesn't
mention
even need
Eliseu.
to play great.
I didn't even mention Eliseu. I said Ricardo Pereira and Guerreiro.
Right, I know, but I was just, you forgot about Eliseu.
And he's countering it.
Não, o Eliseu não tem chances nenhumas. Nenhuma.
No, that's what I'm saying. But the only, what am I saying? If Coentrão doesn't play, that's the only way Eliseu gets in. That's why I think it's 100% guaranteed that Coentrão makes the team. Because if Ricardo makes the team, he makes it on the right side. You can have Cedric. You could even have Cedric, Nelson Semedo, and Ricardo Pereira. Cedric might be on the outside looking in, to be honest with you guys, if he wasn't for Fernand Sanchez being Fernand Sanchez. Cynthia, did you answer the question?
For me, it's if he doesn't get hurt, because as much as Steph wants to slam the media for him not having 45 minutes, for me, it's does he have glass ankles still, right? So as long as he stays fit, why not? Like if he plays well and if he plays better than other guys, give him a chance. He used to be there, so let him go back.
Mm-hmm.
And he has proven he's been fit because he's played the last 5 games the full 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Cynthia, what's the second question?
The second question he asked was a 60 million buyout for João Felix, and he's asking, what is going on?
He's a monstrous player. He's just incredibly good. He's another one of those 10/8 that he's really good. He's really, really good. And obviously the 60 million is just kind of like for it to set out. He's not going to go for cheap.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, he's obviously not going to go for 60 mil, but he's well worth the clause. He's a very young, very good player. I mean, he's a joy to watch every time you see him play. He's just incredible, and he pops into the view, right? So he's not one of those guys where you hear a lot about, but then you actually see him play, and they don't produce as much. When you're on the pitch, when you're watching them, and you're maybe watching Benfica B, and you don't watch it a lot, but you're like, who the hell is that guy? And you look up, and it's João Felix. He's a very good player. So I got nothing against the buyout clause. He's a very good player.
Pete also said that. Pete Domigan, I don't know if you've got him
obviously,
on there too.
I know
he said
Pete.
that he reminds him of Bernard Silva. That's nice. There you go, Neil. I hope that's what you were looking for.
Well, really fast on Felix. Yeah, this guy is amazing. He's a good young player. But you know who was his last club before Benfica?
Tell me.
Sporting?
No.
Port.
It's
one of those, man.
Yeah. Tal como André Gomes, João Felix também foi dispensado do Futebol Clube Porto, rumando ao Dragon Force e ao Padroense. Ambas as equipas aceitadas do Dragões. Foi na última época do padrão de Légua que os encarnados decidiram avançar para a contratação. So, in this case, Futebol Clube Porto fucked up.
Yeah, they did, because he's a really good player.
Yes, he is. I've seen him play, and this kid, he's got good feet.
Yeah. All right. So even Steph agrees. So he's good.
I'm all about the youth, bro. I mean, I know. I've watched Benfica junior team play in the youth league, and I want them to win because I'm all about the youth.
By the way, I think it's worth mentioning, since you brought it up, that Benfica beat Sporting in the derby of the Segunda Liga, right? 2-1. So I didn't watch the game, but Benfica won that game, right? So
yes, they won 2-1. I saw the game on BTV, and it was a so-so game. But yeah, they won fair and square, and that's it. Nothing much to say about that.
All right. So I want to take this final minute of the podcast to just remind people that you can always use either add us at Tiki Taka Pod, or you can use the hashtag Tiki Taka Pod to send us questions, just like Neil did. We used to get a bunch of them way back in the day. But anyway, guys, just send us the questions. Like if you even want us to discuss anything, just leave it out there, and we'll talk. Like for example, that Liverpool guy came to me and he said, "Hey, can you give the lowdown on Porto?" Like, sure, we can do that. So if you guys want us to discuss about anything more specific, just tell us basically the week before. For example, if you want us to talk Braga, so we can watch the Braga game and all that. So just don't forget hashtag Tiki Taka Pod or at Tiki Taka Pod on Twitter. So just leave us a message and we'll get back to you and we'll talk about it, because that's how things go. There, there you go. I just wanted to say that. I don't know if you guys want to say anything else before we end the podcast.
Just about Braga really fast then, since you mentioned it, Braga was robbed yesterday of a penalty. Didn't deserve to lose that game. Braga actually was better than Maritimo. They deserve at least a draw. It's a shame that the referee looked at the play and ignored it. It was a penalty towards the end, and I wish the Braga and Porto and Sporting best of luck in the Champions League and the Liga Europa. We need those points. And I think Braga has a fair shot of winning against Olympique Marseille. It's not the same team as it used to be a few years ago. So go Braga, go Sporting, and go Porto.
All right, Cynthia, any final words?
Don't think so.
That's great. That's great.
We talked
anyway,
too much.
So we talked a lot. 1 hour and 21 minutes is kind of a lot. That's not bad.
Yep.
Anyway, so
and without Bruno.
And without Bruno, yeah.
Yeah.
Se fosse com o Bruno eram 3 horas.
Don't worry.
Oh,
No.
Him on his own could be 3 hours.
But
Don't
you know
worry.
what?
I would have timed it.
I kind of miss him. I miss him.
I know.
My DMs don't. Jeez.
I'm just kidding. He's cool to have around. But no, I would have timed it differently, so don't worry about it. Anyway, it's true, though. I let it slide because I know that we can close out things real quickly. Anyway, so we'll be back. We'll be back next week. Obviously, we're going to be discussing the games that just happened on the weekend. Porto is going to play Maritimo on a Monday. Sporting is going to go up against... man, I forgot. Portimonense. Sporting go up against Portimonense.
Yeah, we play at home at Portimonense. Yep.
And Benfica takes on Tondela. So there you guys go. We're going to be back next week. We're going to be talking about those games. And then we'll let you know whenever we're going to be back online, because the week after that is Christmas week or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Anyway.
Lord.
This is Peter signing off for PT Footy Podcast. I'll see you guys next week.
Have a good night.
Viva Sporting. Viva Sporting.
No, Viva.
No, Benfica.
Benfica.